As the Labour Party's internal machinery comprehensively collapses and a relentless cascade of resignation sweeps through its regional offices, a far more ominous threat now looms over the United Kingdom: national paralysis. With Parliament facing an unprecedented gridlock and the leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, mired in deep disgrace, the government finds itself effectively paralysed at a critical juncture when Britain desperately requires unity and decisive leadership. The international landscape reflects this disarray. Long-standing allies, once vocal supporters or keen observers, have fallen conspicuously silent. The British press, meanwhile, remains unrelentingly hostile, its headlines screaming of scandal and disarray. Sir Keir Starmer, once lauded as the embodiment of Labour's potential renewal and a figure of integrity, has now unequivocally become a lightning rod for everything the public now deeply despises about the Westminster establishment. Whispers in Whitehall: preparations for constitutional extremists. Behind the imposing doors of Whitehall, senior civil servants are reportedly engaged in an extraordinary exercise, preparing for constitutional contingencies not witnessed since the tumultuous post-war era. Authoritative sources within government departments confirm that emergency meetings are being held with an alarming frequency. Here, an array of legal advisors and eminent constitutional scholars are engaged in urgent, intense debates over the precise mechanisms by which the Crown or the Speaker of the House of Commons might be compelled to intervene, particularly should Starmer defiantly refuse to step down from his leadership. The gravity of these discussions underscores the unprecedented nature of the political vacuum. A cry for restoration calls for an emergency general election. The political pressure is not confined to internal party strife. From within the opposition, both Reform UK and disgruntled Conservative backbenchers are vociferously demanding an immediate, emergency general election. Their argument is clear: only through the ballot box, they assert, can public trust be genuinely restored and the current political deadlock broken. This call for a snap election underscores a widespread perception that the current Parliament has lost its legitimacy. Furthermore, a seismic shift has occurred in Labour's traditional bedrock of support, the trade unions. Union backing, historically the financial and logistical backbone of the party, has demonstrably collapsed. Unite the Union, one of the largest and most influential unions, has formally confirmed it has frozen all financial transfers to the Labour Party. In an even more stinging rebuke, the GMB Union issued a sharply worded condemnation, declaring with uncharacteristic directness, "We do not bankroll deception." This loss of vital union funding and moral support has effectively crippled Labour's electoral machine. Electoral machine ground to a halt, grassroots disillusionment. Labour's formidable electoral machine, long fueled by union contributions and the tireless efforts of grassroots activists engaged in door-to-door canvassing, now stands entirely idle. Reports from across the North and Midlands, regions traditionally considered Labour heartlands, paint a stark picture. Local campaign offices in critical marginal seats have been shuttered, and volunteers, once dedicated, are steadfastly refusing to work under Starmer's name. This widespread grassroots disillusionment is further evidenced by the rapid proliferation of petitions for a new leader, with tens of thousands of former Labour supporters joining online calls to clean house and demand radical change. Deep fissures: the socialist rebellion. The deepening crisis has also brutally exposed profound and seemingly irreconcilable fractures within the party itself. Momentum, the influential socialist grassroots faction, has declared nothing short of a full-scale rebellion. In a dramatic escalation, they are now openly calling for the formation of a breakaway party unless Starmer resigns immediately. Their uncompromising statement pulls no punches: this is no longer reformable. The rot is at the top. This internal insurgency signals a schism that could irrevocably alter the landscape of the British left. A funeral for a movement, lamentations from Labour grandees. In a rare and poignant televised interview, a visibly shaken and emotional former Labour grandee, whose identity is being protected out of respect for their privacy, offered a devastating assessment. "This isn't just a scandal," they lamented, their voice heavy with despair, "it's a funeral for the modern Labour movement." This powerful statement resonated deeply, encapsulating the sense of profound loss and existential threat now gripping the party. Meanwhile, rumours of a caretaker cabinet, potentially led by the highly regarded Lisa Nandy, have gained considerable traction. Whispers abound of a potential leadership pact being forged between centrist MPs and the beleaguered remnants of the party's old left flank, desperate to salvage something from the wreckage. Conservative consolidation, a calculated political maneuver. As the Labour Party appears to be in an irreversible spiral of implosion, the Conservative government is adeptly using this moment to consolidate its own position. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's office has commendably begun drafting ambitious new transparency legislation, promising to clean up politics, a move widely seen by political analysts as an opportunistic yet politically astute pivot. However, even the Conservatives are treading cautiously. Recent opinion polls, verified by multiple independent research firms, conclusively show that public faith in all mainstream political parties has cratered to historic lows. International alarm, the global repercussions. Internationally, the collapse of British Labour is generating considerable alarm. Headlines across Europe and beyond have turned grim. The collapse of British Labour, starkly proclaimed a recent cover of Le Monde. In Brussels, officials who were once genuinely hopeful of Labour-led trade negotiations post-Brexit are now actively distancing themselves. They fear a significant backlash, particularly given recent revelations about leaked EU meetings and undeclared gifts reportedly tied to the post-Brexit trade talks. This international reaction underscores the global ramifications of Britain's domestic political chaos. The haunting silence, Starmer's cryptic absence. Yet, perhaps the most haunting and indeed unnerving development in this unfolding drama is Starmer's profound silence. There have been no interviews, no public statements, not even a single tweet from the Labour leader. This unprecedented and cryptic silence has, in itself, become a potent form of communication. It is widely interpreted by the public as an admission of guilt, by his own beleaguered party as a deeply felt betrayal, and by his political opponents as a profound display of weakness. In this unsettling vacuum, conspiracy theories and rampant misinformation have flourished, fueling a chaotic digital battlefield where political legitimacy is now openly and dangerously questioned. Race against time, avert constitutional emergency. Time, it is unequivocally clear, is running out. Sources close to the Speaker of the House of Commons confirm that urgent cross-party talks are quietly taking place, precisely to discuss the continuity of government should Labour's ongoing implosion grind the legislative process to a complete halt. Legal experts, speaking off the record but with grave concern, have warned that a failure to resolve this crisis within a matter of mere weeks could trigger an unprecedented constitutional emergency, potentially necessitating direct intervention from either the Crown or the judiciary. The very fabric of British governance is at stake. More than a scandal, a defining crisis for British democracy. What began as a single, devastating scandal, initially centred around a reported £4 million and a sprawling trail of undeclared influence, has now detonated the very credibility of Britain's second-largest political force. Labour, once poised with an almost certainty to retake power, now faces an existential abyss. For Sir Keir Starmer, the road ahead has narrowed to a perilous path. With public trust unequivocally shattered, party support almost entirely withdrawn, and mounting legal threats, his options are starkly limited: resign immediately and attempt to preserve what little remains of the Labour institution, or defiantly cling to power and risk dragging the entire party down with him into oblivion. Either way, history will undoubtedly remember this moment with stark clarity. The fall of Starmer is no longer merely political theatre, it is, without doubt, a defining and calamitous crisis for British democracy itself. The fallout, experts warn, is expanding by the hour, with unpredictable and far-reaching consequences. The domino effect, widespread collapse. Further evidence of the party's collapse is mounting. Major Labour donors are now quietly, but systematically, pulling their financial support, redirecting funds to independent candidates or pausing contributions indefinitely. Across the country, local councillors from previously considered safe Labour wards are stepping down en masse, citing a profound crisis of conscience. On all major news channels, the BBC, ITV, and Sky, rolling news coverage has entirely overtaken regular programming, with former ministers now openly speaking of an irreversible collapse. Even within Starmer's immediate inner circle, morale has demonstrably fractured. Advisors, once fiercely loyal, have gone ominously silent. Press liaisons have abruptly cancelled all upcoming public appearances, and private security around Starmer's North London residence has reportedly been significantly increased. The future of Labour, a fork in the road. What happens next could fundamentally redefine the political landscape of both the Labour Party and the country itself. Should Labour splinter, a centrist faction might courageously attempt to salvage the party's brand, while a more radical, Corbyn-esque revival could potentially rise from the left. In the center of this unprecedented maelstrom stands Starmer, alone and silent, as the tide of history turns sharply and definitively against him. This was today's crucially important update. We wish to reiterate and make it unequivocally clear that our videos do not contain any form of misinformation whatsoever. Our singular and unwavering goal is to deliver accurate, thoroughly verified, and truthful news to you, our valued audience. If you found this video informative and insightful, we kindly ask you to like it, share your thoughts in the comments section below, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the Alert View channel for more verified news. Thank you for your continued viewership.